Hey Giants, welcome back. I am ready to dive in again on another topic. We'll see how we do on this. I want to talk about the birth, life, and death of a new day. I'm a big believer in fractals and the fractal model that was inspired by Benoit Mandelbrot. Benoit Mandelbrot was a mathematician who came up with an equation that, when repeated, creates complexity. So the simple equation repeated creates complexity, and we see it everywhere. Fractals are simply patterns that are repeated that are self-similar, but when repeated over time, they increase in mass and expansion and create complexity. And our lives kind of run that way. Our days are fractals or self-similar patterns to our lives. And so if we look at our days as though it was a complete lifetime, then we can start to explore it in a new way. Rather than goal setting, we might look at our days as a lifetime. We start it, we go through the middle of it, we live it, and then we end it, just like we do with our lives. And so I'm going to tie in an analogy here that hopefully fits for you as you explore your day. This is what I'm going to do for me today. And I'm going to start in the dream state because this is where we all kind of come from when we come into the new day. We come from our dreamland, a place where we're untethered, where there is healing, where there's peace. Hopefully, for most of us, there's peace in our dreams, and we're able to explore things that we can't do physically. And so there is no limitation. And so we come from that space and we move into the light, right? Daylight, the waking up, we head toward the light. But instead of going and ending our day in the light, we actually begin our day in the light. So we come into a new day and it's self similar to the day before. And so it's almost a reincarnation of yesterday. And so we take our near lifetime of experience. For me, that's 46 years. Every day that goes into that, how much is that? 46 years. I'd imagine by 365, let's just equate here, is 16,790 days that have gone before. And so 16,790 days that I've experienced that are really similar to this one that I'm in the now. So this is my new life today. And so I have a reincarnation in a sense of a new life that looks a lot like the old one that I had yesterday and the one that I had before that and the one that I had before that. But the big distinction here is that although they are self similar, they are distinct. And so my day today looks different from my day yesterday, even if just slightly. And so I've got a new opportunity in this new life today, wherever I start from, just like we start. We don't really choose where we start necessarily, but we can explore where to go from there. So some of us wake up in anxiety. Some of us wake up in depression. Some of us wake up motivated and exciting to go. Just like life, your start point for the day might be different. Your start point for life might be different, but what you do from here is completely up to you. And so, even though the day is self similar, trust that today is a new day. It's different. This is a new lifetime today that you get to explore and create whatever it is that you want to create. And so, when you wake up, there really are possibilities, there is no limitation. And so, there's uncertainty. And this is why this is so important. When we have uncertainty in our lives, everything becomes possible. And so, there's a quote that says that. It says, when nothing is sure, everything is possible. And that's the beauty of a day, is you get to wake up and explore, what do I want to create today? Like childhood wonder, what do I want to create in this day, in this lifetime called today? Because you're going to go out there and you're going to work toward that. And so you start to explore the possibilities because nothing is sure. We really don't know how the day is going to end, but we have some ideas of what we'd like to accomplish in that day. So we create and we move into our vision for the day. Right? So we start to explore, what is it I want to create? Everything is possible. So where do I want to go with it? And this is where you get a chance to really get clear of your vision for the day. So just like you'll have a vision for life, a bigger and a more expanded fractal of a day, a lifetime is just an expanded fractal of a day. You'll have a vision for the day. What do I want to create today? What would be fun to explore? What would I like to do today? What are some possibilities? And so just being with that and creating that vision for the day, by the end of the day, this is the vision I have in mind. This is where I'd like to go toward. And that gives you some direction as far as how to spend your energy, which moves us into nurturing. And with nurturing, it's not knowing fully the steps or how quickly it'll come about, but being willing to stick with it long enough to get it done. So I have some ideas around nurturing today. I have some businesses that I'm working on growing today. I'm not working in my 9 to 5. I do have a 9 to 5 as I create all of this. I'm bridging that 9 to 5 with another business that I'm building and the giants and the smalls. And so looking at the global view of each of these, what is my vision within each of those? And what energy do I want to put into each? Today is my day to do nothing for the 9 to 5. Today is my day to build the vision of my new company and then also to build the vision of the giants and the smalls. What do I want to create within each of those? What is my vision? I have some ideas that I've written down. I created a task list. I don't know what happened, but something just came on here. Give me 1 second. Holy cow, I have no idea. Well, I guess we're going to hear about Chevron. Anyway, I've got to figure that out because it's really throwing me off. I found it. All right. So I'm going to go back to sharing here. Hopefully you hung with that. I'm going to pull up the comments here and let me know. I'm going to go back to that because I just lost complete track. That was random as random can get, but it happened. So I lost my slides because of that, but we're going to go with it. So that's a beautiful thing right there, actually, is sometimes it doesn't go as planned. There was a thing right there, beautiful. Maybe that wasn't an accident that happened the way it did, because I have these visions and plans in my mind for the day, and then something else came up. And so that took me off track a little bit, but I'm going to get back on track with my vision. And so as you're looking at this is a great example. I have no idea what happened, but there's a sponsor, right, Ryan? I'm going to go with it. But the idea here is that we start from a dream state, we reincarnate into a day that looks like yesterday and the 16,000 or more days that we had before that. We step into the uncertainty, and so there's all possibility. We get to set a vision for the day, just like we get to set a vision for our life, and then we get to nurture it. And so as we nurture it, we don't know all the steps. We don't know what's going to come up. Just like that ad just popped up. I don't know what's going to come up. And so when that comes up, I want to make sure that I anchor in my tasks for my vision so that I can come back to those. If I get taken off track, I know where to come back to. I keep a checklist of to-dos for the day, and they're possibilities. It's not just like I have to have those happen and that's how it's going to go. And if it doesn't go that way, I've failed. They're just possibilities. And so I tick them off as I go. I don't tick them off like I make them mad, but I check them off. How about that? And so I go back to them if I get off track, just like that ad. And then I know where to go from there. And so I can follow the vision. And so the nurturing is important because you're paying attention to the intuitions for the day. Just we're talking about one day. You're going to do this for your life, but the day is a model of your life. And so you go into the nurturing, and then at the end of the day, you're going to reflect on your day. You're going to reflect on how it went and what was important and what mattered and what did you accomplish, just like we do at the end of life. You hear about people that talk about the end of life experience, and it's really a reflection. I wish I would have done more of this. I wish I would have done more of that. And simplifying our days is simply that. At the end of the day, there's an opportunity to reflect of what did I accomplish? What would I have done different? What is a possibility there? And then we go into a dream state. We go back to sleep and we go back into a dream state. And so sleeping is important. I got to tell you this because research is showing that when you sleep, your body floods your brain cavity here with spinal fluid, and it floods it out and it flushes it and it washes out the toxins. So being awake is like low-level brain damage. When you're awake, you're creating brain damage, and not in a negative way. You're actually causing tears and connections and all these things, and you have these glial cells that are going in there and cleaning it up, where your spinal fluid flushes that out because you don't have a digestive tract up here. And so that spinal fluid flushes it out while you're sleeping. So that's why it's so important that you get really good sleep, because you're giving yourself space for your brain to reset and clean up and anchor in the learnings of that day, so that when you reincarnate into the next day, you're carrying forward those learnings into the next day. And so when you're sleeping, you're really repairing all of the damage from that previous day and consolidating all of that information so that it's useful on the next day. And so make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of time to rest. Try and set yourself up toward the end of the day to shut down. And I know there's some of us in here that are night owls and they'll go to bed at 2 a.m, which is totally fine. Just make sure you're getting enough sleep around that. So if you go to bed at 2 a.m, try and get 6 to 8 hours of sleep so that your body has time to process that. And then you go back into the dream state and it's a repeat of the day before. And so if you look at your day that way today, what would you do different if this was your lifetime? Today was your lifetime. You had the life of a fruit fly and this was it. What would be your vision today that you would create so that by the end of it, you had accomplished something that moved you more towards your longer term vision? And so play with that. Recognize that today is going to be self-similar to yesterday. You're going to have opportunities to explore and create possibility and vision and nurture it throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, reflect. And then at the end of the day, rest and go back into that dream state. So I don't know if that's how life works on the other side of death. If we go back into a dream state, I don't know that. But if it were self-similar, then that would make a lot of sense that we would go into that space. But I don't want to get too dogmatic here. But if you think of your days that way, it gives you a chance to really focus in and be present right now, which is the most important thing. This is where you create right now. And so be with your day, birth into it. Wherever you are, accept that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, right? Accept that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Open up to possibility, create the vision, nurture it, reflect on it, rest, and then do it again tomorrow. But don't worry about tomorrow. We're just living today. And so you guys make it a giant day. Keep the comments coming. And thanks for watching me. I'll see you in the next video.